The basketball addicts are back at it, talking big games. No game bigger, personally, for me than this Celtics versus Sixers game. Philly wins. Embiid goes off. Marcus Smart gets kicked out. Question for you, though. I'll start with Amy. Which team's future is brighter? The Boston Celtics or the Philadelphia 76ers?
That is a loaded question.
She laughs.
Yeah. I mean, you look at
Scoffs.
Philadelphia and you look at least their first, I'm going to say 5, because I think J.J. Redick is huge for them in terms of hitting shots. They should be able to compete.
He's not part of the future.
However, but
he won't be around at $20 million a year.
all you got to do is hit shots.
Okay,
I mean, I like love Brad Stevens. I've sat here before and said I'm a Boston fan. I love that organization, but I mean, they have been so up and down this year. Ask me, like, in another 2 or 3 weeks.
I'm asking you right now. You're not back on the show in 2 or 3 weeks, so you have to answer right now.
Thanks. I just got cut, huh?
I don't think you're out. You were planned to be on. You have your own plans. So who are you picking, Celtics or Sixers?
After tonight, Sixers.
Oh, wow. Fair weather friend. Just going to swing with the pendulum. Joe.
Yeah, I'm going Sixers. Give me the sure thing. And, at the end of the day, when you're talking futures, you want those foundational stars that you can build something around. And the only clear-cut one Boston has is Kyrie Irving. And there's a lot of uncertainty about whether he's going to be there next year. No, Jason Tatum's not a foundational star yet. He's not. He could be, but he's not yet. He's not yet. I'm not ready to say I'm definitely building my franchise with him. Philly's got 2 of them, in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Embiid's locked up long-term. Simmons is still on his rookie scale deal, so he's under team control for a while. Give me the sure thing of 2 franchise players long-term than the uncertainty of Kyrie and maybe Tatum.
Okay, what's your problem over there? Why are you pouting? Why do I see so much in your bottom lip?
First of all, I don't like how you speak to white women, okay? You need to learn how to speak to white women. Right? Second of all, when are you going to take over his job? Because you're way better. I'm saying that Philly is the future between the 2 teams. Kyrie Irving's not coming back. Stop acting like you don't know that.
Okay,
He's not
wow.
coming back.
All right, because that was actually my next question, was which team is more likely to retain their big-name free agent? You got Boston with Kyrie, you've got Philly with Jimmy Butler, and he's obviously gotten ahead of the show and said Kyrie is not re-signing.
I don't think Jimmy Butler is either.
But I think...
You don't think Butler's come back, really?
I don't think so. I mean, now, there's some, and you could probably speak on this, of him not getting along with Brett Brown. And we already know he's searching for somewhere to play. If they don't win, I don't think he's going to stay. I mean,
you know what? I actually agree with you, because Jimmy Butler is one of those wild cards where it's just like, you know what? If he's not getting his way, if things aren't going the way he envisioned, he just leaves. And I mean,
even tonight, he hits a shot to win the game, but he almost turned it over. I mean, that could have went either way.
Right.
I agree with both of you guys in that I don't think Jimmy necessarily stays, but I think the wild card in all this is Tobias Harris, who's also a free agent, and I think that should be the priority for Philly, because I think his skill set actually matches Embiid and Simmons a little better. He's a better shooter than Jimmy Butler is, so I think Tobias Harris, and to be honest, maybe even J.J. Redick should be their priorities, and I think they will re-sign at least one of those guys, even if Butler walks.
Yeah, but I do have faith in Danny Ainge just to go back, and that's why I struggle with that answer right now. Of course I do. I mean, you don't?
Do you think there's a possibility Kyrie stays?
No, but I mean, I don't think he's hurt them a little bit this season, I think, more with his off-court and his leadership in his locker room.
Almost like they play better without him, right? I guess that's what I say.
So, I mean, I don't think he's coming back. Do I think that means Boston's going to take many steps backwards? No.
All right, well, sticking with the theme of Boston, this is a team that people kind of expect to right the ship once the playoffs come around. Way too much talent, too good of a coach. Top heavy when it comes to superstars with Kyrie. Who's the guy that kind of shakes this locker room and gets these guys in line? Who's the guy?
Al Horford. And you know what, though? I am going to say this. I would like to see Jason Tatum start stepping up and doing that, though. You know what? He's played now 71 games, which is tied for the most on the roster in terms of being on the court this year. He's a second-year player, but you know what? He can be there long-term, and I would like to see him start to show some leadership. I think Al Horford is the guy that pulls Tatum into that position.
I think nobody. Do you guys remember when Rick Pitino was there 20 years ago and he said, Larry Bird's not walking through that door, Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, Robert Parrish isn't walking through that. None of those guys are walking through this door. Celtics have skill, but they don't have anyone in that locker room. If anyone, it is Al Horford. But if you've seen anything this year, they don't have someone in that locker room that kind of pulls it all together and keeps these guys in check. Kyrie's the young players have said we kind of go the way Kyrie goes. When he's in a good mood, we're in a good mood. When he's not, it kind of filters through the rest of the team. I don't know if you want Kyrie to be the emotional focal point of your team.
I think it's Stevens. I think he needs to assert himself, and I think he needs to stop being that coach that is
Why are you
trying to-
whispering?
I think he needs to be the coach. I think Brad Stevens needs to assert himself. You're the coach.
And Gordon Hayward, that's how he would do it through that. That's the guy that played for him at college, right? It's sometimes tough for a coach.
Like
but-
Rosier's
so
he's the mouthpiece, right?
Yeah.
Rose or whatever is the
Hey,
mouthpiece.
Rosier.
to the comedian, just
Rosier.
because you're a mouthpiece, it doesn't mean it's good what's coming out.
Like, that's what I'm saying. He's the
Yeah.
guy. He's the vocal guy in the locker room. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying the coach needs to assert himself. I think Brad Stevens needs to just assert himself differently than he normally does.
All right, next question, since we've already done Boston, let's talk Philly. Is Joel Embiid a truly transcendental player? Is he one of those guys? Can he carry a team to the finals? This team specifically. We'll start with you, T-Rex.
Honestly, I think he can if he has pieces around him.
Yeah.
He's not going to
I'm talking about
LeBron
this
drink-
team. I'm not talking about another team.
No, I'm
this
talking
team
this
that currently
particular
has.
team. Okay,
So does
well,
this team have
yes, he
play
can.
pieces?
This
Okay.
particular team because Joel Embiid understands his role, and he, as much as he's like the guy of the team, he doesn't really act like he's the superstar, and he's cool with that.
What? You don't think he acts like a superstar?
Not really. Like
I think he acts like
not
This
really.
is my
like,
question.
What?
Like, just kind of building on your point, who he's built around with, why should he be carrying anybody through a playoffs? If they can't win with those tools, it ain't on him to carry them through. Something else is going on.
Facts.
Because those top five, he should not be carrying that team. The only person
You
I've
think
ever
my
seen
question is
carry
stupid?
team was, I mean, I thought it could be worded a little bit different. I'm just kidding, because you're great with words, and you use them really well all the time. But you know
Don't
what I
touch
mean?
my shoulder ever again.
Oh my gosh.
You got sun.
Do you get my point, though, is like he
Yeah.
should not be carrying it. And the only person I've ever seen carry a team through the playoffs was LeBron last year.
Right.
Those second four off of their top player are way better on this Philly team.
Now watch this, Akil. This is how you give stats. Go ahead, talk to him.
No,
I
listen,
don't give. I host. I'm like a culture guy.
I think, regardless of whether he has to or not, I think to answer the question, I think he can. He absolutely can carry this team if he needs to, and he's good enough and transcendent enough to, on both ends of the court, to take them to the finals if he needs
Right.
them to. I mean, 27 and 13 with 2 or 3 blocks a game. He's not a great shooter, but he can. He at least is a threat out there. He can step out and shoot if he needs to. If they need him to carry them through a round or two, he can absolutely do it.
All right.
Akil
I disagree. It's hard to
without
do
the
from that
lisp.
position.
This guy.
Joe. I liked you way more before you hired your hype man. Honestly.
That's why he was late. He was stuck.
He's dope.
Still more to come here when we come back on Canada's Home for Talking Hoops. This is the Hangout. We got to talk about March Madness. Everybody's not trying for Zion. Who's in your bracket? How much money you gonna win? And how much money you gonna lend me? We'll be back. Hangout!